Speaking about athlete experience today, we're also looking forward to seeing more than 150 medalists celebrating this evening at the Champions Park. So I really encourage you to join us this evening if you had no chance to come to the Champions Park since then. Mark?
Thank you, Anne. Hello, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Just to quickly, as you can see, we're going to go for athlete, as I said yesterday, athlete experience today. But first, let me give you a couple of quick figures, as ever. Canada today, I'm going to tell you about. Saturday's 6-hour-long broadcast of the Paris 2024 Games on CBC sustained a share of viewing of 43.8%, which is quite enormous, over 12 times the channel's typical share. And on digital, just to tell you that our Olympic campaign, Sport and More Than Sport, has already generated 380 million engagements, not impressions, engagements. And there are, I am told, 21 gold medals in play today. So as ever, we are going to have a theme of the day, and we will take all your other questions afterwards. But let me introduce Emma Terreau, who's chair of the IOC Athletes Commission. I have Martin Foucault, who's president of Paris 24 Athletes Commission, also a member of the IOC Athletes Commission as well. And I have Kaveh Mehrabi, who is director of IOC Athletes Department. So let's start with Emma Terreau.
Thank you, Mark. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. To kick off, I would like to highlight the crucial role of the athletes' experience at the Olympic Games. The main piece of any sports competition, the athletes have been working for years, for a very long time, to have this moment. And at these games, Paris has really put sport in the middle of the city. And the athletes have been able to showcase their talent, showcase their skill, to show what they have been preparing with very iconic venues on the backdrop. The athletes have been able to perform in front of full stadiums, in front of a cheering crowd, very supportive people around them. And as an athlete, that is something that you want to experience. You want to think that this is what makes it worth it, all the hard work that has been put in. And we are very thankful for the Paris team for organizing games where the athletes have been able to be performing to a very supportive and very large crowd. It has been great to see the emotions, the friendship, the respect that the athletes have for each other. And that is, of course, a very centerpiece of the athlete experience. As the IOC Athletes Commission, we've been working together with the Paris 24 Athletes Commission to all the way prior to the games to get ideas, to get feedback, and working together with the organizing committee to shape the athlete experience parts. We have a member of our commission in each coordination commission for every game. And during the games, our members have been seeking for feedback from athletes, and we have been passing that onwards to the organizers. We're very happy how Paris 24 has been reactive with the feedback that we've been given. There's always, of course, adjustments that can be made in the village, at the venues, at transport, and they have been very reactive for that. Also at these games, there's some initiatives that has been coming from us in Paris 24 for the first time. There is a mind zone in the village. There's a nursery for young athlete parents. There's a protection for cyber abuse for athletes, to name a few of them. And then one very exciting new initiative has been the Champions Park, and I will pass on to Martin to speak more about that.
Merci, Emma. Hello, everyone. Champions Park, it's a project I'm really passionate about because the Paris 2024 Athlete Commission has been in lead of this project since day one. I can remember already back 2019 when we also introduced the champion sport for the first time at the Athlete Commission of the IOC in Lausanne. It was really helpful to get the feedback from the international athletes to build and to adjust champion sport. Also, on a personal level, really proud about it because champion sport is also shaped by the experience of the athlete at the Winter Games. I mean, traditionally on the Summer Games, the athlete gets their medal on the stadium, and then their journey at the Games is almost over. As a Winter Olympian, the situation is a bit different. We get the medal on the medal plaza, and so it helps you to enjoy a bit more the full journey at the Games. So it's also how we sought champion sport. So as you can see, the setup is iconic in one of the most beautiful places in Paris, in Le Trocadéro. And the idea was to celebrate the athletes medalists at day +1 after their last competition. This is an exceptional experience for the athletes. We had so many already good feedbacks, and we also wanted to bring this opportunity to bring the champions together, and also wanted to create a new way to connect the athletes with the fans. Anne mentioned it, but we will have more than 150 athletes medalists celebrated at Champions Park today. On the fan experience, it's also something incredible because we reached the maximum capacity during every day. Champions Park was open with 13,000 people capacity on the same time, and we even reached 26,000 people with the rotation system. Also wanted to mention that it's quite innovative also because we without any protocol we allowed the athlete to embrace the Walk of Fame with their own style, and I think this brings an exceptional additional value for the experience for the athlete at the Games. So join us today to see how incredible is the atmosphere. And I think no need to convince anyone that the French fans want to celebrate the athletes here at Paris. So thanks. And I give the floor to Kaveh on the athlete engagement, both digitally and on the village. Kaveh.
Thank you, Martin. Good morning, everyone. Good to see you all. Just a few remarks about the athlete experience, both at the village and also beyond on the social media. For the ones that have had the chance to see some of the images from the Olympic Village, you have seen is an absolutely incredible Olympic Village, really bringing the athletes from all over the world, from all sports together. It's been really inspiring to see how the athletes from different sports that are really celebrating the Olympic values and the Olympism. Many of them, for the first time, they are seeing the athletes from the other sports, even from within their own countries. So it's been really interesting to see how they interact with each other and how they celebrate and living under the same condition. There is really no other event in the world like Olympic Games that can bring the whole world together. So that you can also see in the interaction and in the engagement with athletes. Also, we have Athlete 365 house at the village, where we also make sure that all the athletes are getting exposed to all the resources at the IOC, everything from the Olympic solidarity to different resources that is available to athletes. Very happy to report that already over 9,000 athletes at the Olympic Village have experienced the Athlete 365 house and have learned about all the different support programs that is available to them. Emma mentioned about the nursery at the village, which we are very, very proud of. It's initiatives coming from the IOC Athlete Commission. So for the first time ever, there is a dedicated space inside the Olympic Village where the young parents, young athlete parents, can book a space and book the space to interact with their young children. It's something very, very special. I'm sure you have already seen the interaction on the social media. Some of the athletes have shared the experience. It's really heartwarming to see the moments that they have been able to share with their children. And finally, I did make a reference to social media a few times. I think we are in the era that everything is also living on social media, and sometimes a lot bigger on social media than maybe in the real life. We are very proud of two initiatives that we have implemented for Paris. First one is being, for the first time ever, we have developed a dedicated mobile application for athletes. So the Athlete 365 mobile application, where athletes can get all the information they need in a very friendly way for the competition here in Paris, but also, again, all the resources that is available to them from the IOC, from our Olympic partners, and from the Olympic Solidarity. This has been truly groundbreaking because, again, for athletes, they would like to have access to the information as easy as possible. The second thing that I want to mention is the opportunity that the IOC is giving to athletes in a very innovative way to give them the opportunity and empower them to share their Olympic experience with their fans. I'm sure you have seen all the content from the behind the scene and how they are sharing the excitement from the Olympic venues, from the training, from the village. This is something that the IOC Athlete Commission and the IOC marketing team have been working very, very closely for a number of years, and we are very proud that in Paris this could be done because, again, you can all enjoy the experience that they are sharing, the Olympic experience they are having, and we hope that, and we know that it will bring also a lot of visibility for athletes and it will help to raise their profile. So, Mark, with that, that was our initial comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Kaveh, Martin, Emma. Let's start with questions to our elected athlete representatives and director of athletes. Okay, gentleman over here to start with.
Question for Emma or Martin. Alain Mercier from France Jeux. What kind of feedback did you have from the athlete regarding the opening ceremony? Did they like it as much as walking on a full stadium? Thanks.
Start Emma, then Martin, Emma, Martin.
Yeah, thank you very much for the question. The feedback that we were getting from athletes that it was a moment that they got to be together with the team and the boat. The athletes, even from one country, they might be a bit spread out. Everybody's going for the competition for training. To have that opportunity to be there on a boat, they have support on the banks of the river. And that is something that they were very appreciative of, that they had along the way different things happening, and they were cheered by the crowd there, and they were also able to wave the other boats for other athletes, and that moment lasting for longer. So I think that's something that we got as a feedback from athletes. They were positive about it, knowing that it was a bit wet conditions, but that was definitely not the first thing that was coming up, but the experience that they had.
Et donc je vais répondre en français. Je crois que Emma a bien répondu sur le.
I think that Emma answered properly on the feedback that we had from that to be able to participate in the show, that the ceremonial part of this was very important, but usually it's split. Now they discovered Paris and they participated in this parade. It was a way to also interact with the people, with the crowds, and we had the honor of being on the river at the same time as the athletes without asking them, just by watching them and seeing their smiles in spite of the rain, mind you. I think that there are many athletes that remained at the Trocadero at the very end. That was again a feedback, so it was a thermometer of how they felt about participating in this. And then they wanted, of course, to watch Céline Dion as well.
T-shirt green.
Rodrigo Matos from UOL Brazil. To Emma, you mentioned that you have some help for online abuse of athletes. We saw the case of the two boxing, Iman and Liu Yuting. So how exactly are you dealing with this case, these two cases? IOC already mentioned that they were helping, but how exactly are you helping them? And what kind of feedback do you have from athletes of this kind of service? Do you have a lot of athletes asking for help in this online abuse? If you could give us maybe numbers or things like that, if it's big or just to understand how it's working this.
Yeah, thank you for the question. First of all, the Olympics are about respect and fair play, and it is very unfortunate to see the harassment for these athletes. For the online cyber abuse, unfortunately, with the increased amount of, there's a lot of very positive things about social media for athletes to be able to interact with the fans, but then unfortunately too, there can be a lot of harassment towards the athletes through social media, through different platforms. And what we have development, or what is in place for the first time here, it is an AI-generated system that is blocking the harassing comments coming through the athletes, and if there's something very serious, it will be directed directly to the law enforcement, but it would be blocking so that the athletes would not be receiving those comments.
Maybe just to...
I was going to say, yeah. Firstly, I'll pass to Kavik very quickly. We had Kirsty Burrows here, the safeguarding officer. I don't know if you saw that, but that certainly, you can still watch that online. She gave a very long explanation of safeguarding, but Kavik.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. Actually, you took the words from my mouth. So on the case of the two specific boxers, again, as Mark indicated, of course, our safeguarding unit and Kirsty Burrows are directly in touch with the two NOCs to provide all the supports that is needed to the two NOCs and their athletes. And then on the wider issue of the cyber abuse, again, just as a reminder, that service is available to all athletes. They are all included in that service. So in fact, they don't need to apply. So all the 10,500 or around 10,500 athletes here in Paris, they would benefit from the protection of cyber abuse proactively from the IOC. So in fact, they don't need to do anything to benefit from that. Thank you.
Okay, let's go Tracy Holmes, and then we'll go Jacqueline Magnier, and then we'll come back here.
Hi, Tracy Holmes, Australian Radio Network Sports Ambassador Podcast. My question's to the athletes rep and also Kaveh, whoever wants to answer. Obviously, there are athletes that think differently about particular issues, and so I'm wondering, do they reach out to you? Can you give them information to make them feel more informed about situations like we've seen play out here with the boxing? Because there are some athletes that are very happy to give statements and might not really understand the full complexity of everything. So do you get much of that sort of request? And if you do you give information back to them to enable them to feel more informed about taking whatever position they have on an issue? Thank you.
So Emma and then Marta. Emma?
Right. Yeah, thank you for the question. I think that's a very crucial part of our work, to be seeking for the feedback or the questions that athletes might have, to be present there at the village and also virtually, to be able to answer any of their questions, or if they want to have information of certain things, want to be providing it to them. If we don't have it right there, we want to find it out and provide it for athletes. I think in this case, there was information that was coming from IOC 2 days ago to also give additional information for athletes. One thing that we want to, in all the things that we are providing that is in the games, we want to be using different also digital channels like the Athlete 365, which now is also as an app, so that athletes could be searching for information there and also be asking questions through that. We want to make it as easy as possible for athletes to approach us.
And a quick one about also the network of the different athlete commission. Of course, as the IOC Athlete Commission with Emma and with all our team, we try to provide and to bring the information to the athlete on the village, on the field of place. But also each National Olympic Committee Athlete Commission, each sport athlete commission is also involved in our commission through representative, and it's also their role to bring down the information to the athlete, as I do with my own commission at Paris 224, getting the information from the IOC, understanding better also the situations to be able to explain with the athletes we are in close contact with. So yeah, this is a part of our mission, as Emma mentioned, and of course on sensitive topics, it's important not only to refer on social networks and everything. I'm an athlete who is really active on social network, but sometimes you need to be a bit more on the facts and the regulation, and it's our role at the Athlete Commission to give that information.
Jacqueline Magnier, then we'll come down here to Graham from AP. Yep, just here. Yep.
Jacqueline Magnier from the Australian. Emma, can you just, I'm wondering what the Athletes Commission position on sex testing is, you know, the cheek swab to to ensure that female competition might be confined to XX athletes. What's your Athletes Commission's view on this, and is it here at these games, we've spoken about the harassment of the two athletes in question, but what about the other athletes that are facing them in the ring, whether they've raised concerns with you as well?
Yep. So I think, first of all, it's very important that the rules are clear and they're also available, and all the athletes already starting from the qualification phase know what are the rules, and then those need to be respected. And if those rules are respected, then it is a right for the athletes to be taking part, and then it's a bigger picture than discussion on if the rules are changed in any occasion. But I think our position is that it's important to make sure that everybody is aware of what is there already starting from the qualification phase.
Graham?
I'm Graham Dunbar from Associated Press. Athletes Commission has traditionally been the liaison with Peng Shuai. It would have been lovely if she'd have been there on Saturday for the women's singles final. Maybe she was. I mean, did you invite her to these Olympics? Has there been ongoing communication with her, because there's that open invitation to the Olympic Museum in Lausanne? Has that happened? I mean, what was the most recent communication and your awareness of her current sort of personal security and freedom to travel?
Yeah, I'm happy to take it. I think the communication has been going with Peng Shuai for a number of months, and as you know, she was also there at the Beijing 22 Olympic Winter Games. She has also asked us for some privacy. I think all of us, we are entitled to choose in what manner and what fashion we would like to interact. So she has also been asking for some privacy. But as you indicated, the invitation still is there, and the invitation is open. If at any point in time she chooses to take that invitation, the invitation is still there.
Okay, gentlemen over here. Yeah. And then Wakako, and then we'll come to you, sir.
Good morning. Thierry Wilmot, Belgian daily newspaper Le Soir. I have a question about the withdrawal of the Belgian team for the triathlon this morning. Do you have any comment about this situation, maybe from the IOC and also from Paris 24, and maybe coming also from the athletes to know if they are considering that the situation was in good hands and handled in a good way?
Maybe Anne take that first for Paris 24, and then we speak to the athletes. Yeah.
So you must have seen the statement issued by the Belgium National Olympic Committee regarding the health of the athletes, and they've corrected inaccurate information that was reported in the media regarding her health situation. So we don't have any more comment on her health situation. We will definitely seek regular information regarding her health state, but otherwise no comment on the decision taken by the National Olympic Committee.
Martin, maybe a good athlete.
En français? Oui. Non, d'abord, souhaiter bon rétablissement à l'athlète.
First of all, I want the athletes to be healthy again. That's my first reaction. And of course, we're looking at it from very close by with the Paris 2024 Commission, with her situation because of the problem of the river, the Seine River, that is in the middle of the gist, so to speak. This is a complicated decision because it means a lot. I have been an athlete myself, and I believe our role here is to protect the athletes, because they are the ones who really want to dive, but we are there to make sure that it can be done in proper conditions of public health. It is also a reflection that goes beyond that, because we are limited to our role of sports people, and people see the games just as a number of sports for 2 weeks. I think the issue of the situation of the Seine River means that the games leave some heritage, and it depends on the condition of the country, and the athlete has to be proud of being able to participate, to showcase that the games are not only a series of competitions for 2 weeks, and it's always this set off between the two positions is difficult. We have also seen that for months we were harassed, so to speak, on independent analysis that showed high levels of contaminants, and for the past 2 weeks these independent analysts are not so well publicized, which shows that the work that has been done on the Seine River is positive. And as athletes, of course, this can be maybe challenged, and we all want the sports to be done full-fledged, and we want to know exactly that this is positive for the athletes, and if it's not, we are obliged to say, hey, we may be taking a risk of doing a duathlon instead of triathlon, but the athletes have to have good conditions, and that's thanks to the weather condition as well. We were in a position to do the triathlon, and we really hope that if there was too high contamination of the water, then we would have stopped.
I want to say that the NOC said that this was not related at all to the competition. That's why I want you to check with them directly, and that's why we cannot comment the situation.
For those who didn't see it, the final result, it's finished. Germany won, USA, and then GB, Team GB in the triathlon this morning. Yes, gentlemen. Here. If you see, attends le micro.
Merci, l'agence Tunis-Afrique Presse. Après la course d'hier, 3000 steeple des athlètes, j'étais mécontente.
Can we? You want to ask a question about athletes? Sorry, apologies. Carry on.
Hier, après le 3000 steeple dames, des athlètes qui étaient mécontentes concernant les nouveaux systèmes de qualif.
Athletes were not happy with the qualification system.
N'a pas pu
there was an athlete who was sixth in the sixth position was not able to come in, and others who were in second, third were having issues. So she said, how about we could do it like swimming? So the first heat is kept, is the one used. So what do you think about that?
Obviously what they think, but I mean that I think you have to talk to the IF and to the NOCs involved. Obviously there were regulations in place that everyone was aware of, and that's how the competition ran. If people don't like that afterwards, then that can be discussed. But
yep, on the athlete side, it's exactly what Mark said. We are, and every athlete is really informed about the rules of his sport, and then it's up to the athlete commission of each sport to be involved in the rule modification if there is any rules need to be modified to improve the athlete experience and the athlete process at the games. But the rules are clear at the beginning, and then up to the athlete experience of each federation to work with their own federation to change the regulations if changes are needed.
Okay, yep. Wakako in the back there. Did you, gentlemen?
Thank you. Wakako Yuki from the Yomiuri Shimbun. One same question to Emma and Martin, if I may. This Paris 2024 theme is one of the biggest themes is sustainability. And sustainability means you change your behavior. Could you, of course, you've been to many past Olympic Games yourselves. Could you tell us what are the difference that athlete would experience? For instance, at the village, whether or not to have air conditioning or tap water, or, well, some Japanese athletes complain about longer distance walking. But anyway, could you tell us how it is different and how athletes are adapting to it? Any feedback from them? Thank you.
Emma, do you want to start, and then Martin? How the changes you see here?
Yeah. Thank you very much for the question. Of course, first of all, the sustainability starts from where the games are planned and how they are organized. And a big thing is that there is no venues that won't be used afterwards. So not necessarily building is a huge part of the sustainability. And here I think we have seen how Paris have been using what they have here, that there is the swimming venue that will be used very much by the population afterwards. And I think that's what athletes see here as well. We do not want to be compromising with offering the athletes the food, the water that they are using on that end. But I think sustainability is a very important issue for athletes as well. So promoting minimal food waste, encouraging the recycling, for instance, at the village is something very concrete things that the athletes also see there. And then it's a lot of the behind the scenes planning that we can use to be more sustainable.
Wakako, I think it was kind of in general, the games, the changes, not just the village, but the village is obviously a big one, but yeah, exactly. Martin?
As you can imagine, it's a topic we have been really involved with the Paris 2024 Athlete Commission, because each action was challenged by our commission, and also we had many different positions. I will take an easy example. I never drink water in a plastic bottle, so for me it was like a personal fight to be able to bring that in the commission. Then also I realized that it's not only about French athletes, but we have at the athletes at the village athletes from 206 national Olympic committees with different backgrounds, and in some countries there is no water on the tap water accessible. So it's a big challenge to change minds in only 50 days at the games. So we need to also consider our fight for sustainability, but also to consider that we need to supply and to allow athletes from all around the world to feel safe and to feel welcome at Paris. It was exactly the same position with the air conditioning, because it was a big topic among the Athlete Commission. One we spoke a lot. It was many different positions inside the Athletes Commission. Some were thinking like, okay, we do not need air conditioning because we need to show the world that athletes are engaged in sustainable issues. And others were like, no, we need to focus on sport only. So it's always a big challenge for the athletes to feel they are actively participating to that movement, but also considering that it's the sometimes the more important day of their life. So I truly believe that what we bring here in Paris on water, on food, on transportation is really a strong position from the Paris team on sustainable development issues, and of course then we had to do some compromises on a few topics, because we needed to supply athletes from all around the world with their own specificities.
Okay, there was a lady just there, and then we're going to come across to a gentleman here, and I think I can see someone with a hand up at the back there. Yeah.
Hi, Lena from Reuters. So I have a question back to the water condition. In hindsight, obviously you know that the concerns and problems revolving it could happen. That's why you spent considerable amount of money to clear the water up. But the problem seems to still remain. So my question is, was there any consideration of a backup venue for this? Did you prepare a backup venue? Because athletes has also, before have complained about why is there no backup venue for this part?
So regarding the triathlon, as we have a contingency plan, and regarding the fact that the competition can also take place as a duathlon, the decision was taken, and regarding also the improvement that you've mentioned, the decision was taken to stick to this venue. Regarding swimming marathon, we've decided to have another venue as a backup, regarding the fact that there are less options in case the level of the water quality is not aligned with the requirement.
Okay, we're going to come all the three down here. So start with the lady here. Yeah.
Bonjour, Agence France-Presse, Déborah Clos. Je continue sur le même sujet, simplement une question pour Anne. Sur
to continue on the same topic, it's for Anne. On what basis did you make that decision yesterday? You referred to prospective analysis in your communiqué. Usually you use a bacteriological testing that is taken within 24 hours. So I would like to know how you made that decision at 7 p.m. yesterday. Well, reading the trends regarding based on the weather forecast, based on provisional forecast, the International Federation decided to anticipate the decision. It was also based on the request by athletes. They wanted to have a better visibility on the event, and in this regard, the World Triathlon made that decision, so a statement was sent, all the information was communicated on the conditions for this competition, and we will also send the results at the results that we obtained this morning as of tomorrow morning.
Gentleman there, and then I think I see lady at the back. Yep.
Question for Mark, Steve Scott from ITV News. Mark, just to pick up where you left off yesterday, if you could clarify something for me. I wondered, the letter from the IBA that you received, if we accept for the purposes of this conversation that the protocol and good governance was not followed, nevertheless, were the tests on the two boxes carried out by a reputable agency or an accredited laboratory? In other words, if you put the protocol aside, were they credible tests?
I'm unable to tell you that because I'm not a medical expert, so I can't help you with that one.
Just one follow-up.
By the way, you can put that question to maybe to our team and I can find out an answer, but I can't tell you if they were credible or not credible because the source from which they came was not credible and the basis for the questions was not credible. So therefore, for the test was not credible. So therefore, I'm assuming, I wasn't involved in the process, but I'm assuming for that reason there was no consideration of whether they were correct or not correct because they didn't have any bearing on the eligibility for the boxing competition here.
Just one more. Have you, during these games or even before, given the disqualification of these two boxers, had any formal representations or informal representations or complaints from NOCs here about their inclusion?
Not that I know of. As I say, as I said many days before, these athletes have been competing in senior competition for 6 years without any issue. They're eligible to compete here and they've competed here. I'm not aware at all of any representations that we've had, Steve. So, okay, lady at the back there.
Robin Doolittle from the Globe and Mail. I wanted to know if you guys have any ideas about the numbers of athletes who have used the nursery in the Olympic Village or the breastfeeding facilities, rooms, equipment.
Sure. I think just going to...
Have a microphone, yeah.
Sorry, just answer that question in a couple of elements. I think as a starting point, it was about the message that we wanted to give, that being a young mother or young father shouldn't be a barrier for you to compete. So as a starting point was that message and positioning that we wanted to take as the IOC. Then in terms of the usage, actually has been very, very popular. We have had over 50 athletes and or 50 bookings that have been made. And we will be able to have the final figures at the end of the games. But again, it's at two levels. It's one, the messaging and the position that we wanted to take in terms of showing the support for the athletes and especially young parents. And then, of course, it's very encouraging to see that it has been extremely popular and he's been really used and booked out almost on a daily basis. So.
And the idea is that the kids are staying outside the village and can come meet mom or dad who are staying in the village and play for a little bit, and then they head out.
Exactly, that's the purpose. Is for a day visit. The booking has to be done through our platform, at H365 platform. The guest pass will be provided by the National Olympic Committees. They can come make a booking, spend a couple of hours together as a family. It's not an overnight stay and it's not a daycare, so the parents have to be there. Is a really that calm and nice space that the parents can spend some quiet time with their young children.
And I had one follow-up on the Seine. If you've heard from any athletes about, has anyone got ear infections, stomach aches? So do we have any confirmed sicknesses that's been reported?
Not to my knowledge, Cave.
I mean, again, we have actually a very, very popular or very known triathlete on our commission, as you know. So I think having spoken to him, we are not aware of any particular case. And for the ones that are fan of triathlon, you know that there are different conditions in different competitions. So probably the competition here is also not completely unusual for the community of the triathlete.
Yeah, okay, let's go down to Carlos Groman here, and then, yeah, lady.
Mark, just to follow up on the boxing, given the strained relationship of the IOC with a non-recognized IBA, there was still an issue raised by that non-recognized federation about two boxers. I assume the ITA in doping does the same thing when there is some sort of information about targeting testing. Why didn't you look into this matter in order to protect the athletes prior to the Olympics? Thank you.
As we said, because the grounds for the test also were not legitimate, because actually the grounds for eligibility for the contest do not contain that. Whether other inquiries were made or not made, I'm not aware of that personally. I can't tell you about that, but the issue was, and the issue remains, that these women were eligible for this contest and remain eligible for this contest and competed in this contest. So, yeah, before we start going around second ones, yeah, gentleman here first.
Bonjour, André Fontenelle, Follet de São Paulo, Brésil. J'ai une question pour Madame Descamps sur les résultats
I have a question for Mrs. Descamps on the lab results on the Seine River. For me, these results from, we haven't seen any results since July 15th, and we saw a plan of security for the opening of the ceremony, and we saw that we were told by the prefecture that NGOs were allowed to take part. It was they said there should not be any exceptions and to allow people to come onto these zones. We will, of course, be completely transparent on the analysis results. However, we have to say that you are not fully transparent, because I believe that the mayor only gave a few statistics 2 days before the competition, and you're giving few. So will we have at some point results of the lab results a day after day or the day of, whether it's on E. coli or other lethal bacteria? I would like to explain the Paris City Hall gets results on the water quality on a regular basis, and it's been going on for several months. And now on the swimmability, the results of the analysis are not the only criteria to that are used to decide whether or not a competition will take place. It's a group. It's a various set of measures. That is why the only analysis of the results is not the only factor that will justify whether or not a competition can take place. That's why the World Triathlon shares the information with the athletes, and they are the first to know, they are the first concerned. So this is an analysis that has to be read by the wider public. So we have to, take that decision based on various factors. So of course we share some results with the athletes, because if you want, however, the lab results are not the only factors that motivate the decision, and we were transparent for the 2 days of competition.
Yeah, gentleman here.
Jay Busby, Yahoo Sports. Mark, I'm trying to get a little clarification on eligibility for boxing, for any boxer. When the IOC severed ties with the IBA, it fell to the Paris boxing unit to administer the boxing competition. The rules of the Paris boxing unit, say that it is up to the National Olympic committees to determine the eligibility of boxers. So is the final say on who is eligible with the NOCs, or does the IOC have any administration at that point for this specific Olympics?
It would be the IF that finally decides, in which case it would be the boxing unit. But we published, when we first started, the eligibility rules, which you can find, and I've referred people to it before. There's 8-10 pages of the eligibility rules. In the end, it's the IF, which in this case is the Paris boxing unit. Okay, gentleman further back, yeah.
Hi, Jonathan Crane, Deutsche Welle. There was a report overnight from Germany about fencing fights being manipulated before the Olympics, Olympic qualification. Obviously, there was also reports before the Olympics from the US. I was wondering if the IOC is concerned about this, whether it has faith in the referees in the fencing events, and whether it will call for an investigation.
At this stage, I think this is a matter for the IF, International Federation, to look into. I understand there are no issues at the IF level, but obviously if that gets raised further, then that may eventually come to us. But at this stage, it's still at the federation level. And that level, I understand there seem to be no issues, but that's as far as I can talk. Yes, sorry, there's a lady here who's been waiting a long time, down the front. No, here. Sorry, I forgot you. Apologies.
Hi, thank you. Marta Pascual-Gianola from the Sydney Morning Herald and The Age. This is a bit of a follow-up question on Kirsty's sort of explanation of the AI harassment protection the other day as well. Has the IOC made any reports to law enforcement in relation to harassment or otherwise online of athletes, particularly in the context of the very toxic debate around the boxing online? And obviously within the bounds of athlete confidentiality and privacy, are you able to elaborate about maybe the nature of some of those reports, if there's been any?
Answer to the last question, no, because obviously this is all confidential. Safe to say, again, I won't talk about specific cases, but safe to say we are in contact in general about any harassment cases, and when egregious cases arise, they are referred to the law enforcement officers. But I won't discuss specific cases. Anyone want to add to that, Kavi?
No, I think grounds cover exactly.
Okay. Don't think you've had a question yet. So, gentlemen, yeah, from Reuters, I think.
Hi, Jean-Peter from Reuters. Follow-up questions for Anne and Martin, because Martin, you mentioned that NOGs, didn't say anything about the water quality since the game started, but as my colleague over there mentioned, nobody has access actually to the Seine River to conduct independent testing. So I wanted to ask Anne, if there's still a possibility to do independent testing. And the other question is, did the two athletes, because there was also a Swiss athlete, actually test positive for E. coli? Not that we'll jump into conclusions. We know we can get E. coli from food poisoning, etc. But did it test positive for E. coli?
So regarding the conducting of independent tests, as far as I know, everyone is able to organize tests along the River Seine. It's an open area, and we've seen from a previous situation that tests have been undertaken. What I want to state is that we have a very, very rigorous process on our side, with also different laboratories that are used in order to have several measures, and that everything is doing in a transparent way. As the athlete have just been communicated the results, where they had the result previous to the games, but a statement was issued to them in order to have all the information. I can just read to you so that you have the same level of information before you ask me another time the question. So I'm just going to read why the World Triathlon shared to the athlete. So it's quite long, sorry for that, but you will have all the context to answer your question. So as communicated yesterday, a meeting took place on the 4th of August at 7 p.m. to review the latest water quality results and respond to the request from teams and athletes to provide more time to prepare for the upcoming mixed relay competition. So this was an important request from the athletes. During the meeting, World Triathlon confirmed the mixed relay would go ahead on the 5th of August at 8 a.m. This decision was taken based on the results available yesterday, which confirmed that Seine water quality level at the triathlon venue continued to improve, as well as forward-looking analysis, which indicates that water quality will be within the level acceptable by World Triathlon on race day. This decision was ratified this morning by World Triathlon based on the following factors. 1, the continued improvement of water quality following heavy rain in Paris region on the 1st and 2nd of August. The good weather condition on Sunday, 4th of August, with high temperature and sunshine, which were conducive to the elimination of bacteria. The downward trend in measurement at the observation station at the entrance to Paris, which enabled us to anticipate water quality at the Olympic site by several hours. The results of the water quality results taken at 5:30 a.m. on the 4th of August from the fourth sampling point, which ranged between 727 and 1,553 for E. coli. These results were presented to the team and athlete this morning ahead of the race, and there were no objection to the swim. Furthermore, water quality analysis carried out in parallel by a second certified laboratory on the same 4 sampling points indicated water quality was within the thresholds established by World Triathlon between 687 and 980 for E. coli. The results of today's water quality will be shared with teams and athletes when they become available tomorrow.
Yeah, okay.
And Anne answered the question you asked me.
Okay. Yeah, I think there's a follow-up, and then we're nearly at an end. We'll finish with Graham. We'll save the best till last. You get 2 goes.
Thank you, Anne, but can you confirm, or are you referring us to World Triathlon or the teams on the fact that both athletes have tested positive for E. coli?
So on that question, I think that the best would be to refer to the NOCs. Yeah, we cannot confirm.
I think neither of us have any information on that. I know the Swiss one you mentioned, the Swiss said it was not related in any way to the water from the Seine, but I don't know anything more than that. Okay, we've reached the end, I think, so big drum roll for Graham. Your question, Graham.
A nice low-key one, diplomatic relations between Taiwan and China. I think you've been contacted by the Taiwanese government today, maybe through the ambassador in Paris, about interventions with their fans at the badminton venue. I'm sure your media monitoring has picked up on the clips of Taiwanese fans having their sort of piece of paper or banners which didn't have objectively offensive slogans, being taken down by people who didn't appear to be venue security or ordinary fans. I was wondering, what contact have you had with the Taiwan government? What's your awareness of who these people are in the badminton venue who've been taking people's signs?
I mean, I haven't seen the video, so I can't actually comment on that. But what I'd say is that there are very clear rules. There's an agreement actually with Chinese Taipei and with the Taiwanese government going back 40 years about the representation of the National Olympic Committee, which everyone has agreed to. There are terms and conditions. So the general rule is obviously we ask people to stick by the terms and conditions and not breach those for all NOCs. We are in touch with all the NOCs. I can't speak for the NOC department. I'm sure they've probably been contacted already. And we will remind people of the rules that are actually on the tickets, well understood, and understood for a very good reason, that we need to bring everyone together and keep the temperature down in all sorts of different debates and discussions.
So someone holding up a banner that says, "Let's go Taiwan," or just has an outline of the territory, the map of the country, that would be controversial?
Banners are not allowed, so I would guess yes. I mean, the idea is you can see how this can lead into, if that's allowed, then why not this? And if this is allowed, why not that? So that's why the rules are quite strict, because we have to try to bring 206, or the representatives of 206 National Olympic Committees together in one place. It's quite a tough ask. Our job is to build a culture of peace, not to continually prosecute people, explain to people. I'm sure they will be explained to why we have to have these rules. And let's hope that we can continue to have peaceful competitions with fans that are enjoying the sport. Thank you very much. Seems like a good place to end. See you all again tomorrow, where we're going to look very briefly at the beginning at legacy and sustainability. Good story to tell there. So thank you very much indeed. Thank you.